Hey everybody, sorry I'm back up. Some legal technical difficulties to get it online, but here I am. So for those who don't know me, I'm Steven, and today I'm just going to show you my workflow to model a house in ArchiCAD. So this is a house that I've designed for a client, and I think it's a good example to show you the basics on how to use the different tools like the the slab tool, adding walls, roofs, and some claddings around, windows and furniture. So if we looked at the floor plans by pressing F2, it's just like a little shortcut, and we are on the first floor, so I'm just going to go down to the ground floor. Here we got a double garage, lounge area, dining, kitchen here, outdoor space, and like a WC. And if you go upstairs, we got another living area, three bedrooms with one that has a ensuite and a walk-in wardrobe. This house was designed to have a split design, so you can see here the staircase. So help us work out with different levels. Okay, I mean, let's just get started. Just gonna open a new ArchiCAD file, and the first thing I'm gonna do is to try to import some reference. So usually you could just go File, Open, External Content. Yeah. Usually what I do is just get some images here, and I'm just going to drag and drop into here. Just going to take that ground floor plan, put it in here, and make sure I'm on the ground floor. So now I get my image, and now we need to make sure it's resize the correct scale. So the shortcut is Control K on Windows. So it's the resize option. Press OK, and I'm just gonna click here. So this first point, second point, and I'm just gonna tap in the value. So here it's about 11,630. 11,630. So now it's resized to the correct scale, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the upper floor. But here I actually need to create another floor. So I'm just going to create a new story, and say first floor, and I'm going to put it about 2.7 up. So now I get another floor, and what I'm going to do now is go back here and drag in the first floor. Okay, put it in place. I haven't. We'll still need to line them up after, but let's go and resize that floor plan. So usually the resize will be in edit here. So you see it's Control K, that was a shortcut. So you click on that, press OK, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Click on this one. Make sure that the angle is at 0 so that the line is straight. Press OK. So now we get our two floor plans, and we can go back to ground floor by double clicking here. Okay, so if we go back to our 3D here, and I'm just going to quickly show you by pressing Ctrl Alt A. Um, it it shows these windows here, and we can cut 3D view, so we can see how it is, the floor plan in 3D. So you can see there's different levels. So the garage and the entry area are on one level, and then the lounge and the dining and the outdoor are on another one. So I like to set my ground level where there's the door entry. So if we go back here, I'm gonna try to trace that slab there first. And so I'm going to take the slab tool and start maybe from that corner there. And also I'm just going to choose a basic structure for now and change the geometry to polygonal. I'm just going to go around here and try to type in the exact dimension. So this one is 570, and then here it's 2000, and then here I think it's about 600. Well, this one doesn't have the dimensions, but I can roughly, I think it's 3.6. Then come down here, say 5 meters. And actually, I'm going to press escape. It should be around here. So 3.4. Yeah, that's about 2.1. And yeah, and you can see there's like a guideline was created. So now we have first slab. If it's not the correct, because like here it needs to be pushed like 100, you can just select the slab that you just made, like hover the edge, click, and then there's like a pop-up window with all the standard edit tools. So I'm going to offset that edge, click it here, and you can drag it left or right, and I'm just going to type 100. So now I got my first slab. If we go into 3D by pressing F5, you have this. So that's our slab, and so it's mostly this way, like the car will come here. And I'm just going to do the other slab. So you can either press Alt and select one of the elements that's already on the page, so it will reactivate that tool, so you don't need to click here. Yeah, and so it's about 3.4 here, 5.8 and there, and this one should be lined up with here. So you can press Shift to kind of constrain a line to an axis. So you can see here it's in this axis here, and I can just move along, and then I can use that point as reference and click, and I can go this way, 3.8, same thing, and constraint, and that's like 5.1. And here I'm just going to click on that edge here. Yeah. And voila. So now if we go back in 3D, we have the slab, but there's supposed to be a different level. So this one we're just going to offset it. I think it's 900 down. So you could either type in here minus 900, so it will shift it down, or you could just have select one of the point here and click on here, on this one. It's going to drag, and if you stick onto that line here, you can just type in the value and it will drop it down. So now we got our two slabs. We're going to add some walls now, and on the wall tool, I'm going to change to basic here, and you can see this. Instead, click on that corner that you just made once, and then click on it and click some more. But because we know we're going to do more than one wall, it's actually better to change the geometry method to be like this, so you can have multiple walls that would be connected, and you just click on the corners. Okay, now let's go see in 3D what it looks like. We got our first wall here. The height is set to 2.4 because in ArchiCAD you can, like, the The normal setting would be to stretch the wall to the next story. And if you go to design story settings, so right now it's at 2.450. If I were to change that to 2.7, the wall will automatically stretch. So I'm just going to bring it back to 2.4. And actually this one 2.4 as well. And I'm going to press OK. Now I'm going to show you another way of making those walls. So the one at the bottom here, so if you were to select that slab, you can use the magic wand to create the wall automatically, so you don't need to click on each corner. I'm just going to select the wall, and if you place your cursor within like a slab and you press spacebar, you will get that little icon here, and if I click, it will create walls automatically. That follows the perimeter of that slab. Of course, here we need to remove some of them, so we can click the ones that we don't want, like those, and they're gone. So if you go into 3D, you can see the wall is placed, but because the slab needs to be lower, what we can do is select the wall that we created, and okay, usually when you create a group, it's all connected, but then if you press Alt G, it will bring back the group together. And so it's I think it's grouping, so it's suspended group. You can select them individually or turn it off, and you can select the whole group at once. And now I'm going to change the setting by pressing to Ctrl T, and here I want the walls to drop down by 900 but still stick to the first floor. Yeah, and actually no, I want it to be minus 900 from the top floor as well. So here we are, and now we need to create those two walls there, and those should be at the same level as this. So I'm just going to absorb the property of that wall because I know it's already at the same height, and some settings, and I'm just going to quickly place them. Here you can see that the face, like the darker line, is mean that's the outside face. If you can see here, outside face, but obviously I need to flip it. And it should be 2.1. Yeah, I'm just going to press shift to lock it into that axis and just lining up with this. Press OK. And I need to make sure this is at the right dimension, so it needs to be 1280. And so I just need to move it by 1, and now I can select those three walls and click on here, so it's going to intersect all the wall that has been selected, so we have a clean junction. And let's go back in 3D. So it looks alright, and I think we need the walls for the toilet here, and I'm just going to select those ones, flip it. It's about 500 here and 1000. Down here 2.4. Voila. So now we get our walls here. Normally you would have some type of foundation wall here as well, but we don't need to really focus on that right now. What I can do now is to do the same thing but for the upper floor. So I'm just going to press Ctrl and the arrow key up on your keyboard. That's like a shortcut that allows you to move between story like quickly instead of just clicking. And what I'll do is to just try to place this in the correct position by clicking ground floor and shows that trace reference. Like if you move this, you will see the slab that we just made, slab and walls. And what we can do is you just take the image, press Ctrl D, which is a shortcut to drag an element, and click on that corner and place it here. So that's roughly where it should be. And what we could do actually is you just go back to ground floor, select the two slabs that we just made, press a Ctrl C to copy, go back up a level, Ctrl V to paste them. And then here we can just tweak it to fit. This needs to be moved down here. And this needs to be pushed a little bit, 100. Well, and here we know that the distance is 6680. So what I'm going to do, just going to mouse over the edge. I'm going to add a node like this, and then I'm going to push this so it's in line with that slab there. And now I can just push that here to just check what's the distance. You can see 65, 6655. So I need to 6655. So I need to move it 25. Get that 6080. Yeah, so that's correct. And here normally I would have the staircase, so I need to leave a gap about 1000. And okay, let's go into 3D. So now we get our slabs here. Actually, that wall needs to be stopped there. So what we can do is just take that wall here, and I'm just gonna stretch his height. It's stopped there. Good, because anyway we're gonna have another wall here soon. And okay, you can see that the slab is going behind that wall. So a way to edit it, you don't need to go back into the floor plans. You can do the same thing here. If you mouse over this edge, you can insert a node, and by pressing shift it will make it stick to that axis, and you can use that as a reference point. So now there's a node that's been created here. Go back to the edge, and now you can offset the edge as well. So I'm just going to move it to here. It's gone, and I'm going to do something for there. I'm just push it, offset it. Okay, good. Now we're just going to create the wall as well. So go back here. I'm going to select the wall tool, use the magic wand, and press OK. Sometimes when you do that, like the wall is white, it's because the trace reference is on. So if you turn it back off by clicking here, it'll come back to normal. So I'm just going to delete the walls that I didn't need. And then I'm just going to stretch them, some of the interior walls. Okay, I think there's something that's wrong here. I think this one should have been here earlier, and I think it's this part that needed to be stretched down actually. I'm just gonna take that, stretch it to here. Same for this one. And okay, for this one, you can see there's one, they're kind of on both sides. So here you can use the solid element operation. So I'm gonna use this as the target, so that's the element that we want to modify, and the operator is gonna be that slab. And what we want is to subtract anything that's above that slab. So I'm just gonna use this and press execute. And you can see the element has been trimmed, but it hasn't disappeared, because if I were to, let's say, move the slab, the wall will come back up. It's just like now they're both connected. Okay, and well, I'm just gonna stretch back that wall. I think same as I did before, I need to make sure the top is minus 900, which it is already. It's good. So I'm just gonna go back here, and I'm gonna go here. So now I've just absorbed the properties of the walls below because they're similar. And I'm just gonna use the magic wand again, just hovering the slab, press OK, removing some of the walls that I don't need. And okay, I'm just gonna move that in. Wait, oops. That's what can happen if you don't like stick to an axis. Like, it will move a little bit. Make sure it's straight. And I'm just gonna select the wall tool again by absorbing the properties, and now I'm just gonna change to a center and use this as a reference. Get that wall 4.2, and now the easiest way for me is to just select an element, Control D to drag, and press Control again to get the little plus, so it allows you to make copies. And I'm just gonna move it 1000. 1001. I'm gonna do something here, and then I can move that along. Here, or you can just select those two and intersect them. And I can take this one, drag, Control D to drag, press 1.4. I'm gonna stretch it here. And now if you press Control and mouse over like a wall, you get the scissor tool, which allows you to cut it. Copy, Control D plus 50, drag it down, cut it, bring it here, and I think I'm just gonna type it 700. Oops. 700, and I'm gonna cut that. And do is to stretch that. Cut. Really depend on you, like which one's faster. I'm gonna take that wall here, move it, and that's 3.2. Take that wall there, Control D and Control again to get that little plus, and I'm gonna cut. Now let's go into 3D. So we get our walls, and maybe here we can add another one. So I'm just gonna move this one like 100. This, and I'm gonna take that wall, so it should be set on the first floor. Then down minus 900, and I'm gonna flip it on that side, and then I'm gonna stretch it down. Yeah. Okay, here there's a little problem. I think it's because of the wall that's below. So here, I think it's if you, yeah, so it gets priority. Okay, so now what we can do is maybe quickly add some walls, or some roofs. So to go to roof here, and I'm going to show the first floor as a reference. And in this case, we have mono pitch, and I'm just gonna adding here, and I'm gonna hide it. There's some rafters as well. So this one is set to 20 degrees, 15 degrees, and I think this one is supposed to be 10 degrees. So let's go back. Roof tool. I use the rectangular. So first, click on the reference point. Well, so that's where the lowest part of the roof it's gonna be, and then the eye is the directions of going up. Press OK, and now you can just create your slab. Oh, your roof. Let's go into 3D. Okay, so now we have a roof. Here you can change this position. We're gonna press minus 900 and change the pitch to 10 degrees. What we need to add maybe is overhang. So if we go back into 2D by pressing F2, we can offset the edges, all edges by 300. And of course here we want to offset it back so it's flush with the wall that's going to be right there. Okay, so we get this wall. Now we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to Alt and click on this roof. So the element is reactivated. I'm going to do the same thing here. It's going to be the direction of going up, bottom part, and I'm going to pull it all the way here. I'm going to give it overhang of 300. And I'm just going to pull that back. Let's go here and click this, and I'm going to change the pitch to 20. Okay, and same thing for here. And change to, but because this one is the highest, I don't need to pull it back, but I do need to lift it up. So bring back to 0. And now we are missing some walls here to fill up. So you could either try to pull those walls all the way up. But what yeah, so those will here, you can actually just increase the height to, let's say, 0. And same to this one. And here you can use this tool here. So it's going to trim the walls to the roof. This one sometimes it's a bit hard to see, but you need to select where there is like the blue part. like those wool, it means that's the part that you want to keep. That's cut. And what's different from using this tool and this is mostly, I think it's like if you move it down, say 800, it will move as well. Of course, this one is not trimmed because we haven't selected it. And we can do the same. And I think what I'll do, this is two walls. Actually here, I'm just going to go back to the roof and create a wall there. I'm just going to select this and make sure I flip that. I'll get this wall here, and now I can use that roof tool and trim it. Now I'll get the top part, and I'm going to do the same on this side. Good. And okay, this one I need to raise it. Or maybe I should just have raised everything. Yeah, maybe I'm just going to delete that back. I'm just going to raise all those walls, because I think in what I've designed, those are rafters, so I could actually just bring all the walls to the roof. And so I'm just going to increase by 900. Oops. Increase by 900. And I'm going to do same for this two. I mean, there's going to be a lot of cleanup to do after. I think what I can do is just stretch the wall for now. And then now I can just remove them. Just one. So you can see here, maybe I could just stretch that wall, or okay, for now, maybe we're not going to pay attention to that. I'm just going to fix it later. Because I think here I will need to add some doors or stuff like that. Put me a little bit. So I'm just going to go into here, Control Alt A, and I'm going to turn off the roof. Okay. No, that's what we have. And actually, we want that wall here. Or maybe I'm just gonna reduce this wall by, let's say, 300 minus 300, and I can bring that wall down like minus 300. So now it's covered, and if we bring back the roof, you don't see it anymore, so which is good. But I still need to bring that back up. Let's say 3000. Good. Okay, so now we get our walls, slabs, and roof. I think the slabs are a bit thin, so select all of them and maybe change it to, let's say, 250. So what we can quickly do now is to maybe add some windows. Back to ground floor. What I like to do is in here, and so here there's like 3 sash. It's gonna be like a triple windows. You get an overview of what it looks like. The middle needs to be a fixed glass, and the other two is like a top hung. And now we go into the shape. I'm gonna make it, this one is about 2.4, and this is 600, this is 1.2, 1.2. Symmetric uniform. Oh, I know this needs to be changed here, 2.4, and go to 1.2. Change that to 600. 1. Yep. And I want the header to story. Oh, 2.2 is fine. It's okay. And now I'm just gonna hover one of the walls, and you can see there's a little sun icon here, which give you an indication of where it's the outside, and roughly place it and click. So now you can left and right, but just click any. And so now we get a windows. You can make sure it's in the right position. Put it at let's say 270. And then if you go into 3D, you can see it's here. Okay, why it's here? Because there's a settings header to story 1. So it's if you look at the header, which is the top here, 3.1. So I think you have to remember that our ground floor is actually in here, and then we move it 900. So this needs to be changed, or at least moved 900. So that should be more correct. And now we can go back into the floor plan by pressing F2, and we're going to make another copy. So same idea to the wall. You can just select the element, press Ctrl D to drag, and press Ctrl again to make another copy. And I'm going to place it here. Let's say 2.7. Go back in here. Maybe I'm just going to put 40, so it's about the same distance. Press F5, and now we get a second window which has the same properties as this one. I think we have the same windows on the upper level, so I'm just going to copy. Another way, if you know it's the same window on that side, you can click on this and you're going to mirror, use like the center line of that wall, click. But then I forgot to pick a copy, so you have to click on this, press Control, so you get the plus sign, click here and you get your copy on the other side. Windows there. Let's see if that Windows is anywhere else. I think it's the same here. So I'm just gonna hover it, press Alt to absorb the same properties. Go in here, and I'll get a little guide on where the middle of the wall is. And those one as well. Oops, realized that I forgot to cut that wall. Yeah. Sometimes if I want to know what's the center, just move it to the edge. 300, so I'm just 150. Mirror it, make a copy by pressing Control. Okay, so now we have those windows. But here you can see it needs to be changed. Header to story needs to go back to 2.0. Yeah, so like I said, this value is to set this height. And let's go back into the other 3D model. Here we get smaller windows. Same window here. Just gonna go back down. So the property is this, and it's in the right place, and maybe you're gonna set up to 300. So I'm just gonna move that. Like this, go up. Actually, I should center this one first. 250. Go back in 3D. I think this one's meant to be a bit smaller, so we're gonna change the height by half. As you can see, because this is the, I mean, it needs to follow that rule, so that's why it moved up instead of down. And just gonna make sure this is lining up. And we have like a normal window there, and back to Windows and single windows, and maybe to top hung, header to story. Yeah, and it's a bit too big. This should be 600, and we're gonna put it 1.2 again. It's gonna be 100 from the edge there. Okay. I'm gonna copy that and place it here as well. 606. Good. Good. Okay, so get Windows. One's missing here, so I'm just gonna use that. Yeah. It's a 200. And we're just gonna add one more there. And this one should be 2, so actually, okay, let's just do 2. And this one, we multiple horizontal slash. No, that's not what I need. I don't want this. I don't want this. Okay. And any from paint, that's fine. And one, I want it to be open. So size fixed. This one is gonna be, well, let's hit top as well. And press OK. Place. And I'm just gonna stretch it the whole distance. And I'm gonna change the height to 600. This one needs to be up. And correct. Those two needs to be moved up. So I'm just going to select those two and turn around in 3D to be able to use that as a reference. And we're going to add another window there. Just going to take that, bring it here, and I want to make sure that it's in the middle of this space. What I can do is trace a line in here, so it will give me a guide of what's the center of that space, and now I can just drag along and use that as a reference. And yep, this. We're gonna now quickly add some doors. Just go to door tool, and you get a lot of options on the type of door, but here I'm just gonna go with the normal one. And right now it's set to 900. Let's just drop it to 860. It's okay. And I'm here. I see the markers right now. See the line weight. Usually I take this, put it here, and bring it back to 500, so it's centered. And I'm gonna make a copy and mirror it. I need to add a little door for the storage. I think there's a way to activate some of the hotspot to guide you. So 475, and maybe here I'm just gonna resize it to 760. I'm gonna take that same door by absorbing the properties, Alt, and bringing on this one. I'm gonna line up the center of it with that corner of the wall. Same thing. Over there. Lining up with that window. This one. $35 or 100. And okay, so this wall we stretch it because we wanted to get the cladding on the same wall. But what we can do now is make a door here, and I'm going to stretch that. And one thing you can do is to go into the setting, Control T, and going to make an empty opening. Now the door is going to disappear. It's just a hole, and that's what we wanted. If we go into the 3D, and now I'm going to press Control Alt A to bring out the filter and cut, and going to do limited, and we work on the first floor. So I'm just going to click on here, press OK. So now I get a view of the 3D, and you can see that we have some issues with the door. It's a bit too high. So it's the same thing. We have to click on those doors and make sure the sill to story is set to story level 2. So it's on that level. So we need to bring them down 900 so they touch the ground. Those two are okay. And we need to do the same thing for here. But here, because I actually want to keep that height, so I'm just going to select that door because I know it's there, and I'm just going to stretch it down. So I keep that height, and oh, good. Now we got our doors, and we're just going to quickly do the same thing at the bottom. Here we got an entrance door, which is going to be settings, and I think it's this kind of door with a side light. That's okay. Okay, so for me the door is not in the right position, so I'm just gonna go back in here and I'm gonna select the other one. So this one, and I'm gonna mirror it, right position, and need a door there and some sliding doors. Cavity sliders, sliding doors, pocket doors. Change it to 760. Press OK, and that's gonna be in the outside. Change the directions. I'm just gonna place it 16. Yeah, door. Entrance door as well, 900. 17. And well, we need a garage door. Garage door, overhead garage. I'm gonna change it to that style. Width, I think is 418, and maybe a height of 2.3. Press OK, and try to get in the middle. So we get a garage door, get a front door here. And now we need some sliding doors. Sliding doors. I think it's this one that I want. And no, it's this one. And I can change to 3 lives. And I want to add glass. And put it here. And I want it to slide this way. Let's do 3.2. Make sure that we're in the center. I mean, you can put it whatever you want. And now I'm just gonna upload the properties and do another one here. 250. I think I could stretch it to maybe, yeah, 3.4. Same for here, 3.4. And 100. So maybe I'm just gonna push that 100. So from the outside, it looks balanced. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. So 100 and 300. So that's good. Okay, we need to change cell to story to be minus 900. So the cell is like the bottom part. And I think in 3D you can just click on the door and you see the little pink vertex allows you to move the door in 3D to open it. And what else? I think I'm missing some windows here. If we look back at the 3D models, oh, there's another one here. Yeah, and here. So let's do that quickly. Just gonna take that window. Yeah. And size it to, let's say, 1.8. And put it into place. This. Oh, that's one way of isolating an element. Let's say, because when you press S5, it shows everything. But let's say you're working just on this wall here. You can just select the wall, press F5, and it's only that wall that will show. I mean, it's really convenient when you want to model stuff closely. Yeah, I think I'm gonna change that. Uh, maybe it's better to do what we had before, like just 2. And 600, 1.8, 1.2, and it's actually this side light. Oh, you're gonna do the opposite. So the side light is gonna be 1.2 to be upon 1. It's okay. Move it. I'm gonna mirror it. Put this one in the kitchen so you can open that while you cook. Okay. And maybe this needs to be resized. Let's see. 1000. Maybe we can actually line them up with the one here. So go up. This one. Here. Make sure it's 40. Up. Take this one. Go back to ground floor. There. Go into 3D. Lining it up there. And I'm just gonna change the settings to be 600. Oh, I think we're missing 2 here and 1 here. So I'm gonna go back up. 1. Yeah. And this. I can just line them up. Oops. It's crashing. Well, sorry guys. I guess that's it. 1 hour. I'll try to come back on later. Well,